just going to do some random missions today. I made a little bit of settlement, this and that.
This is private property. Good day to you. Go away.
Let me in. Edward Deegan asked me to come here.
Oh, it's you. Good. Come on in. Let's go meet the boss.
What is this place?
Better to let Jack answer that. Come on. Jack, the new guy is here.
One moment. I just have to.
He'll be right with us.
Oh, damn. Clearly, I'll need to adjust the mixture. Hello. Welcome to Cabot House. I'm Jack Cabot.
What is this place?
This is my ancestral home. The Cabots have always lived here, since long before the Great War. If you're asking what we're still doing here, with Boston in its current sad state, well, that's a story for another time, perhaps.
Edward said you needed to talk to me before he hired me?
Yes, Edward finds it tiresome, but I always like to know personally everyone who works for me. Please, have a seat. How about a drink? Edward, the good bourbon, eh? Please, have a seat.
People can't actually live here, right? So, seems you know how to hold your own.
Now,
I'd have
before
my
we get down
doubts
to
when we
business,
first hit the
I have a
road.
question I like to ask all my new employees.
Is this really the time
Don't
for it?
interrupt, Edward. The question is this. Do you believe there is other intelligent life in the universe?
Are you talking about aliens? UFOs and little green men?
No, that's all popular hysteria. I doubt any of it has any basis in fact. I'm talking about the hidden history of our planet. The very origins of human civilization. Ancient powers that modern science, even at its pinnacle, could barely begin to comprehend.
You think aliens created human civilization?
Guess they kind of dropped the ball on that one.
Yes, if by alien you mean a non-human precursor to the commonly understood founding cultures. Sumer, Egypt, Assyria. My father excavated a city in the Rub al-Khali in Arabia, which he dated to more than 4,000 years before the rise of any known human civilization. The structures and artifacts were strange, disturbing even. Clearly not constructed for or by humans. I've spent my life trying to decipher what he uncovered.
Jack, can I tell him what I need him to do?
I'm sorry, Edward. I just get carried away sometimes. You're sending him to look for the missing shipment.
Yeah.
Well then, I'd better leave you to it. We'll talk more about this some other time, when things are less rushed. It isn't important now. Welcome to the family.
Okay. You're officially hired. Congratulations.
What was all that about?
Don't worry about it for now. That's part of the job, by the way. It's best to keep an open mind. Jack may be eccentric, but he's definitely not crazy. The job I got for you is simple. Jack owns a facility north of the city. There's an important package that went missing between there and here. I need you to track it down and bring it back to me. Any questions?
For starters, what's this package I'm looking for?
It's a metal case holding vials of serum. You don't need to worry about what it is. Jack needs it for his research. That's all you need to know. You should start at Parsons State Insane Asylum. Don't let the name spook you. It's just a secure building that we're using. We think the courier got ambushed as he was leaving the place. The guards heard gunfire in the distance, but we don't know exactly what happened. Check in with Maria at Parsons. She's in charge of the security force there. She can point you in the right direction. You all set then?
I have some questions.
Shoot.
How did this package go missing?
The courier got there and picked up the package just fine, but never got back here. Could be simple bad luck, or it could be a deliberate ambush. That's why I'm sending you. It's important that you recover the missing package. Anything else?
Why does Jack have people guarding an old insane asylum?
I don't mind you asking questions, as long as you don't mind me not answering them. If it was important to what I was asking you to do, I'd tell you. In this case, it isn't. You all set then?
Nothing else.
Okay. They're expecting you over at Parsons, so you'd better get going.
Good to see you again.
Got a minute?
What?
I was intrigued by your theory about an ancient alien civilization.
Actually, it was my father's theory. Now proven beyond doubt, although only to me, unfortunately. There aren't many archaeology journals publishing these days.
You have proof.
Enough to satisfy me. He only made a single expedition to the Lost City. But he brought back enough to show beyond a doubt that the city he found wasn't made by or for human beings. millennia older than the earliest human civilizations, but with technology that seems to have surpassed our own. And yet, everything about it is strange, disturbing geometries, tools not made for human hands, carvings that hint at dimensions beyond our own.
What was your father's theory?
He believed that all of the earliest human civilizations shared some common parent that was unknown to history. Think of Atlantis. The myth of an advanced civilization destroyed by a cataclysm is shared by many widely separated ancient cultures. Eventually, he found what he was looking for. A lost city, buried beneath the sands of the empty quarter of the Arabian desert.
You said your father found a lost city?
Yes, he spent years looking, and was widely ridiculed by the so-called experts. I'm ashamed to say even I doubted him. But in the end, he found it. A lost city, buried in the sands of the Rub al-Khali, the empty quarter of Arabia.
I wanted to ask you about something else.
All right.
What's going on at that old insane asylum?
I carry out some of my research there. That's all you need to know.
The more I know, the better I'll be at my job.
Well, I suppose that may be true. My father is confined in Parsons. For his own safety and everyone else's. He became dangerously unstable after handling an ancient artifact he found in Arabia. I've spent my life trying to figure out how to cure him. Was there anything else?
Quite a place you've got here. Amazing that it survived the war.
Thank you. I try not to take it for granted. We were definitely more fortunate than most. It hasn't been easy keeping it up to pre-war standards, but we do what we can. Any more questions?
How'd your father manage to travel to Arabia with the world blown to hell?
Ah, well, that was before the war, when he was a young man.
How's that possible? The war was 200 years ago.
One of the effects of my father's illness was a slowing or arresting of the aging process. So, yes, he is well over 200 years old, as you suspected. Any more questions?
I've got to get going.
All right.
What you got?
Hey, Hancock.
To think I ever doubted you.
Oh yeah? What kind of doubts?
You kidding me? You look like you'd fallen out of the vault that day. I thought I'd see you picking your teeth out of the gutter by sunup. It's just real rare these days. Find someone who's not willing to take things the way they're handed to them. Too many good folks not willing to get their hands dirty. And too many assholes taking advantage of it. Look at what happened at Diamond City. Before McDonough took over, it was a half-decent place to live. A little stricter than I usually go for, but not terrible. I thought he and I had a pretty happy childhood. But then he decides he's gonna try and get elected with his anti-ghoul crusade. Mankind for McDonough. Before you know it, you got families with kids lining up to drag folks they called neighbor out of their homes and throw them to the ruins.
Why did McDonough campaign against the ghouls?
Because he thought he could win. There'd always been a pretty clear divide between the folks living in the stands and those down on the field. I'm not convinced they didn't do it just to improve their view. I remember storming into his office above the stands after the inauguration speech. He was just standing there, staring out the window, watching as the city turned on the ghouls. He didn't even look at me. Just said, "I did it, John. It's finally mine." Should have killed him right there, but I don't think it would have changed anything. Instead, I pleaded with him, begged him to call it off. He said he couldn't. He had nothing against the ghouls. He was just carrying out the will of the people. couldn't betray the voters. And then he smiled. That hideous fucking mile-long smile. He never smiled like that when we were kids. I didn't even recognize him.
What do you mean you didn't recognize him?
I don't know. Just didn't seem like the guy I grew up with. When I'd first heard the rumors he'd been swapped for a synth, thinking back on that night, I thought it made a lot of sense. But now, I don't know. I don't think I buy it. I've seen him since then, and there's no way they copied him that perfectly. Even got his tight-ass walk. But at the time, I just needed to get the hell away from him. Him and that whole damn city.
He murdered those ghouls.
Him and that whole damn city. I still wasn't a ghoul at this point, so I didn't have to leave, but I couldn't bring myself to stay in that cesspool after that. I'd been sneaking off the Good Neighbor for years to get decent cams, so I knew the safe routes. I managed to track down a couple of the families, lead them there, but most couldn't get used to the Good Neighbor lifestyle. I brought them food for a couple of weeks, but after a while, they just disappeared. Folks in Diamond City signed their death warrants, and all the good people were willing to just sit by and watch. I felt like I was the only one who saw how screwed up things truly were, who couldn't just pretend things were fine. Still feel that way. Or I did. Until I met you. I know I run my mouth, but having someone who sees the world for what it is, and is willing to do something about it, it's meant a lot to me. I feel damn lucky to have you as a friend.
And that's what we are? Friends?
Well, now that you mention it, I have been having slightly more impure thoughts than usual. Maybe we'll get to, act on those. But I guess we should probably head out, huh? After you. Someone's got way too much time on their hands if they can get a place this clean.